Hello and welcome to Talksports on Global Television, coming to you live from Abuja, the nation's capital, where we have a whole lot lined up in the world of sport to bring to you as it happens on the go. A lot of things happening in the world of sports, and we just feel you cannot afford to miss out on this. I am Anita Patrick. I won't be doing this alone. Of course, I have my co-anchor with me in the studio in person of Ramsey and Okagbo. It's good to have you joining us on Talksports today. There's a whole lot with the bantering of it's time for you to hand over the trophy to the Moroccans, where the Senegals are saying we are not doing that. It's not possible. We also what went down during the finals of the AFCON 2025, and Senegals are so angry to say, why would CAF do a U-turn at the last minute after sitting at the disciplinary committee and the courts to see how they can resolve all of the things happening with the decision that was taken in the last days of AFCON?
Yes, a lot of Nigerians have reacted to that situation. Nigerians, I'm not talking about Senegalese yet. A lot of Nigerians and people around the world have reacted to that. And Senegal is not taking a no for an answer. Sure. They are appealing. And of course, we're waiting for what will happen. But then, looking at the whole situation, what really transpired, we can hear the Algerians saying, well, you don't win trophies in court, you win trophies on the field.
On the field,
meaning a lot of people are not really in support of what happened. Because if you look at the situation, it's wrong in the first place to have left the field of play, but something prompted that. They didn't just leave. But then, if you want to talk about one, you must also consider two, because after one, you must call two before you go to three. There is a rule to every game. All right, every game has its rule. If the rule is broken, this is something that is international, that is known everywhere. If the rule is broken, then what is the disciplinary action? What is supposed to be done, have to be done? I was seeing a lot of videos where, Nigerians are very creative in this era of AI. The way they were given the trophy. There is this video that you'll see Senegalese reversing back and submitting, giving back the medal and the cup. But then I think the bottom line is we are waiting for what will happen. A lot of people, this is the first time I'm seeing Shehu Sani, the former Kaduna Central former senator, reacting to something that has to do with sport. Probably I've not seen, but I saw it on the papers where he was reacting to it. Meaning a lot of people are not really satisfied with this judgment, but we are just keeping our fingers crossed to see what will happen. Probably at the end of the day, the appeal may work. But then this doesn't speak well. The truth is that it doesn't speak well for the round leader game. I think what needs to be done has to be done when it is hot. Vengeance, they said, is best when served hot. So I feel,
Well, before we get talking on the whole discussion on that, let's see that the fact that the Senegalese had celebrated this even to their home country. They had taken the cup home. The country had received them. They've also given applause to Mane for the leadership he showed on the field of play during that particular game, and how they saw the fact that they were able to put their thoughts together to give themselves the benefit of the doubt that despite all that went wrong, they were able to get the needed results they needed to get and get the league title as the leading champions of Africa football in Nigeria, or in Africa basically. Let me really limit to Nigeria, because the tension we had, the tension that was shown during that particular play was so much across Africa that concerns were raised, issues were raised to say, how can this happen in Africa football? It tends to give Africa football a very different mindset, or a different idea, or a different look, because Africa football is known to be. But let's look at the decisions. Let's start with what CAF had to say. Let's start with that basic issue so our audience can understand where we're driving at and what we're driving at basically. Well, the aftermath of the decision was that CAF has mandated Senegal to return the AFCON trophy. Well, the Confederation of Africa Football,
they should give the other people another one.
Let's just to understand how this is out. But they've ordered the Senegal national team to return the African Cup of Nations trophy to its headquarters in Cairo, following a dramatic ruling by its appeal committee. Well, the CAF appeal committee made this very official on Monday in a statement where they stripped Senegal to the AFCON title after the team walked off the pitch during the final match against the Moroccan national team in the protest over controversial refereeing decisions. Let's break this down, then we'll talk about it in detail. Well, invoking the relevant provisions of the competition regulations, CAF ruled that Senegal forfeited the match, with the result awarded in favor of Morocco. That's what the ruling came out to say, that not like they didn't play football to win, but for the fact that they walked out of the pitch was their reason why they ruled out Senegal being the ones who won this in the long run. Well, in the aftermath decision of the scenes of celebration erupted across major cities in Morocco. Of course, Moroccan fans poured into the streets to mark what is being recognized as a historic triumph for the Atlas Lions. Let's break this down, Ramsey. Moroccans were looking forward to this win because they've not had it in the last 50 years. Now, with what happened, with the fact that they Senegalese left the field of play due to the officiating, which they felt was not in their favor, was not even giving what it means for them in football competition. They left in their own way. But it took money to go back and call his teammates after being spoken to come back to the field of play and finish up the ball so that they can have their end result. But these are the things that we look at. If they walked out at that point based on the officiating that they were not getting the needed results and they came back to play. But CAF, in their ruling, where they made that committee, said the fact that they stepped out, they've actually forfeited the game. And when you forfeit the game, it means you've let go.
All right.
And don't forget, the Moroccans will also look for every loophole to get the needed answer or results they've been yearning for in the last 50 years. It took them a lot to put this infrastructure, all of this in place for them to host AFCON. And the aim of that is also for them to win.
So could this be a compensation because they put a lot of things in place?
Well, that's the question a lot of Nigerians or a lot of Africans or a lot of football pundits are asking. Is this in favor of them? Is this a way of compensating them because the fact that they see themselves as the host and should have taken this?
Let me tell you this for free. This is not going to go well with the way the Europeans will look at African football.
Okay.
On this platform, we talked about the kind of respect this last AFCON got from international bodies.
Sure.
We saw the kind of people that came to watch the game, the people that watch online, and all of that. We saw how clubs, a lot of people, big names, in football, watched that game. We saw a lot of people pledging allegiance to their African countries. Sure. After the African Cup of Nations.
Sure.
One thing that we mustn't look down on and take into cognizance is how would the world view this? Number one, the issue of home advantage. Something needs to be done about it.
In African football.
In the African football. Okay. Because we saw what happened. You can't tell me that referee wasn't careful because that game was played in Morocco. He was being careful, and by being careful, maybe sometimes you make mistakes. These people are not gods. They make mistakes. If they walked out of the field, we are human. We know there are rules to this game anyway,
yes,
but we are humans. When something is becoming too much, we all heard about
the reactions
beginning from the sale of tickets, the way they were accepted, right from their trainings. We can see emotionally and psychologically, we can walk back memory lane and just have a rethink of what happened to the Senegalese players even before that match. So I am feeling that CAF as a father, there is a way you settle this thing. These people have already won the game. All right,
let it go. And then the next one, you can look at how to handle things.
Instead of saying, okay, let's discipline them.
And then going forward, without measures. Because a lot of people have said CAF has made one of the biggest mistakes in reversing its judgments.
I'm just hearing for the first time that a particular club, whether there were mistakes or not, whether there were blunders from the referee or not, if a particular club had won a trophy in EPL or maybe Champions League or La Liga or Italian Serie A, then you say, no, there was a mistake. These people are appealing. Then you go and collect it back and say, give to this other club.
Who do the football, what's the word now, where they go to bet, who refunds their money?
The sporting bets, you report their money. That's the case.
I've been thinking that because I've had a lot of football pundits talk about it and say, so who's going to refund us? Because we had our money fixed into this and they got this, so who's going to refund us?
Yeah, so now that they've refunded the match, the betting companies should also refund.
Okay, so that's one conversation that should be in the front burner. But let's also give you the guide to the fact that what CAF ruled. The ruling also brings a decisive end to one of the most contentious finals in the history of the Africa Cup of Nations, with CAF reaffirming its stance on discipline and adherence to competition rules. Well, it might be an adherence to discipline, but the question is, does this really have to end this way? Because of course they're trying to adhere to discipline and the competition rules, because competition rules, we know competition rules. Yes, competition rules has to do with the fact that you cannot just get up and leave the field of play in the name of you want to show that or protest the fact that they're appreciating. Nigerians had a similar encounter. Nigerians did not react in that part when we played the Moroccans as well. Don't forget, Moroccans were fully supporting Nigerians when we played other countries.
Yeah, with Algeria.
Yes. So when it was time for Nigeria to play the Moroccans, we're friends, but it's competition and all that. And when it turned out the way it was for the Moroccans, they still went back to support Nigerians when Nigerians were playing the other team. You understand? To come out of this. So I'm just worried with this. Where would African football stand in the eyes of the world?
Anita, the truth is this. The rule, if there are, I know every game have its rule, and these rules cannot be bent overnight because of a particular country. But then, if you know there is a rule, these guys have walked out of the field.
Yes.
The referee should know that there is a rule which says if you walk out of the field, the match is automatically, the 3 points is automatically awarded to your opponent. Why not blow the final whistle when they went out of the field?
But he was trying to find a soft landing, and then he was trying to.
Then there is a soft landing.
At some point, remember he called them the coach from Morocco, the Senegalese coach. He called him and said and tried to talk some words to him, and that one obviously allowed psychology to play with his players. And at some point he told them to come out of the field of play because he couldn't take. So
at that point, the center referee can blow the whistle and end the game. Automatically, everybody will know that yes,
this is where it ends.
This is where it ends, and it has been awarded. If you allow these guys to come back into the field and take out time to play the game and get into penalty and win that game, then something is wrong somewhere. You understand? If we know that we know there is a rule.
Of course,
it is wrong everywhere for you to walk out of the field.
It is because the sportsmanship spirit is dead.
You understand? So I'm only saying this because of the impact of this on Africa. See, this is an image we are trying to build by all means. You know, there's a way these people look at African Cup of Nations. Somebody had made a statement about African Cup of Nations. A player one time that got a bash and apologized. I don't know if you could remember. So there's a way these people view African Cup of Nations, anything in Africa. So we need to do everything to protect this image. If we know that there is a rule that says if any opponent, all right, walk out of the field, the game has ended in the favor of the other team, then the referee should blow the final whistle and end the game. But if you went and called this guy, they came into
and
the
played
field and
finished
played,
the game,
and the game ended in dreadlock, and they still went into penalty and won. Then you go back and say, it may make some people suspect that these rules were made after the game.
They are bending rules.
Yes, they are bending rules.
So let's look at
it's complicated
let's
somehow.
look at the reactions.
The Senegalese were wrong walking out of the field.
But let's look at the reactions of the Senegal team. Well, Senegal refused to surrender. Senegal has refused to surrender the AFCON trophy, the prize money, pending CAS ruling, because they are saying
they are appealing, of course.
Yeah, of course they are appealing. So they are saying, let CAS give us the final answer, and we'll tell you if we're ready to give you back the trophy or the winning money. Let's give you a guide to what their decision was. Well, a new dimension has emerged in the controversy surrounding the Africa Cup of Nations, with Senegal national football team and their football authorities refusing to return the tournament trophy and prize money amid an ongoing dispute. While players of the Senegalese national team have reportedly declined to relinquish any rewards earned from their trophy, adopting a firm stance as uncertainty persists over the final outcome of the competition. The Senegalese Football Federation has backed the players' position, confirming that neither the AFCON trophy nor the reported $10 million prize money will be returned until a final decision is reached at the Court of Arbitration for Sports. According to the Federation, any attempt to alter the outcome of the tournament must follow due process and be determined by the appropriate legal authority. Well, the dispute has intensified scrutiny on governance and disputes resolution mechanisms within African football, raising broader concerns about the integrity of the competition results and adherence to established procedures. Well, before the controversy escalated, Senegal had planned to present the AFCON trophy to supporters during an international friendly scheduled for March 28, in what was intended to be a celebratory homecoming event. However, those plans are now uncertain as legal proceedings take precedence. Well, Ramsey, I want to start with this note. You remember when Mane went back to his club, you saw the welcome he got from his teammates to say, Mane, you're the man. You did an amazing job.
He actually did.
Yeah, yes, he did. He showed the leadership capacity, he showed the strength. But I'm looking at how he's going to feel, because of course they have plans, like they've mentioned, to look at the friendlies they're going to have, to see it as a celebration that they are the African champions in football for the male category. But now there's a controversy in place, and then of course Senegal is saying we're not taking the decision of CAF, because Mane, of course, is a well-exposed person, someone we know has a leadership quality. That's why his co-teammates respect his mindset, respect his decision, because he knows how to walk the talk.
Yes.
So how do you expect them to feel $10 million cash prize?
The truth is, today, tomorrow, and forever, Mane is a man of the game, a man of the match, and of course, his leadership quality that you can't take away at all. So no matter whatever happens, one good thing about Mane is, even when Mane was in Liverpool before he moved, there is a way he's been held, he's been respected, and the way he played his game and his courage. You know, there are some very peculiar things about Mane and the leadership quality he displayed.
Yes.
Whether or not CAF is withdrawing the trophy and the prize money, that leadership quality is innate, is inbuilt, it's in him. He has it forever. So whoever wants to celebrate him for that can go ahead and celebrate him. But as a matter of fact, the truth is this. This money that we're talking about here, returning it back, all right, well, the Senegalese would be able to return that money already. Well, dancing as a matter of fact, they've celebrated, they've danced, and they've poured champagne. So it could even be that Senegal as a country have even rewarded them for winning the trophy. But the truth is that they won the trophy.
Yes,
right?
they did. They won the trophy
because what was required of the country, the footballers, was what they did and won the country. Not that they didn't win the trophy, but this is a disciplinary action, which is saying you won the trophy, but
your actions,
your actions. This is a discipline for your action. Not that you didn't win, you played to the finish and you won according to the rule of the game.
Yes.
But then disciplinary action for attitudes and your reactions on the field of play is what we are frowning at. So every the country and every other club in the world that wants to hold them at a high esteem should go ahead and hold them at a high esteem. But then I see it very difficult returning the money and the trophy. But whatever
if you were giving that kind of money, let me put you on the spot.
Is the money still there, or they've used it?
I'm looking
it's
at
not to be a basic for this time. Yes,
I like it when I called it a basic. So because
would they have the money? Is the money still there, or they've used it?
You know when excitement comes to play when you win something. There's a lot of excitement, there's jubilation. Just like the Moroccans are celebrating the fact that the ruling of CAF is in their favor.
Morocco should be. Why are they even celebrating?
They should, of course, because it's just like going to court and you present your matter, and then the ruling falls in your favor. You will celebrate.
But do you know that even there were conducts? You remember during our match? You remember what happened?
Yes.
There were
we saw all of
this.
But
why is nobody saying anything about the conduct of the Moroccans? Moroccans had issue with Nigeria, they had issue with Senegal, and nobody is saying anything about it. So why is CAF quiet about that?
Would we call that the desperation of the Moroccans wanting to win at all costs?
Yeah, if you want to win, if you're desperate and you want to win, what you need to do is your
attitude,
your training, the intensity of your training will determine whether you are hungry for this game and the way you play. When you are playing, see, we need to see how the English Premier League is being played.
How it's organized and the structure of things.
You see, when these guys are hungry for goal, you see how they run tirelessly. They do everything to make sure there are no free kicks, there are no lapses. You know, the tackles. You know, there is a way they do this thing. The tiki-takas, the way they do it on the field of play is so professional, and you can see the hunger, you can see the enthusiasm, you can see the quest to get this trophy.
Okay.
But when it comes to Africa, you see,
Africa has the football that has to do with physicality. Sure, you know that.
Physicality, but it's not all. It's not all African countries.
Not all African countries. But I'm just saying that we have a mindset that we have the fight to finish kind of mindset.
Yeah, that's Nigeria, Mali, Senegal, Ghana.
But the names you mentioned, have you seen? Just like I said, physicality, it has to do with their strength.
Cameroonians. I remember when they wore that body
So everyone had their own way or tactics which they see is the better way to display their strength and tenacity in the field. But let's give you a guide to the 9-man CAF appeal board that ruled in favor of the Moroccans, where the Moroccans are celebrating today. The decision by the Confederation of African Football Appeal Board to award the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON title to Morocco has sparked widespread debate, of course, placing the panel members behind the ruling under increased scrutiny.
Sure.
Of course, a lot of Nigerians, everybody across the world that has to do with football is looking at how this is playing out. In a dramatic reversal, the CAF Appeal Board annulled the original results of the final and awarded Morocco a 3-0 victory over Senegal. Can you imagine that? After playing and getting into
penalty,
they played extra time, they played the penalty shootout, and then you're awarding Morocco.
So the 3-0 now means these guys walked out of the game and the game ended there.
Exactly. So why did you play the extra time? Why did you play the penalty shootout?
Trying to tell us that the CAF president was there. I understand. CAF officials were watching that final. We have about 4 or 5 officials.
Why were they not taking decisions instantly?
I say, then you do your hand and you just end
that's the end of the game.
Anyways, everybody will know that it is in the favor of Morocco from that point. So that's where the problem is.
So let's give you the breakdown, because of course you can see it on the screen as well. The citing this 9-man board cites a breach of tournament regulations by the Senegalese team. That was one of the major reasons why they said they had to go. So look at these members. We have a Nigerian on that as well.
As a president.
As the president of that particular
we need to check this
that particular team. We have the vice chairman, who is also from Cape Verde. We also have from Tunisia, Namibia, Mauritius, Djibouti, and Togo. You know, these are the people across who sat to make that decision, and questions have been asked. Why would you have to rule after this? Yes,
I'm in support that these guys should be scrutinized.
What's that?
The 9 men, the nine members of the appeal board.
So of course they should be
scrutinized. Scrutiny is on, like you said.
Yes, it's ongoing right now.
So I'm in support of the scrutiny with my 2 hands. They should be scrutinized. The Nigerian president, then the vice president from they should be scrutinized.
To check their integrity or their understanding of football.
That appeal, if they are scrutinizing them, that appeal will be revisited. Okay, that appeal will be revisited again.
It sounds the way Africans or the world is protesting against this ruling seem like everybody really wanted the Senegalese to go home with the cup.
You need to watch that game.
No, I did follow up with AFCON, but let's break it down. We saw the different teams, how they played. Senegalese played out their hearts.
From the beginning of the game to the end.
So let's talk about this chap from Morocco that had what's his name again? That was really back to back on almost crying on the field of play.
Yes.
This young chap, what's his name again? I'm trying to guess it right next to my head.
Number 10. The guy really played. He played out.
So at some point he felt betrayed and was almost losing it, because he wanted to really take this cup, give his country the cup, to say, I have been amazing. Of course, Ibrahim Diaz did amazing job for the Moroccan team. So if you see his passion
from the beginning of the game till the end,
yes, he was really. He was passionate. You could see the passion, even to the point that he became a bit confrontational.
Yes.
And he shows his passion, because he really was. He's also a fantastic footballer.
He's a fantastic footballer, yeah.
So he was imagining, how would I play in my home country, and despite all of this, and it will just slip off my hands like that.
That game, that game. I was even. Let me appreciate the Moroccans for one thing. Though there were confrontations, but it was not as bad and disastrous as I was thinking, because the way the Moroccans came out, it's like there was a public holiday throughout that period.
You can't have such international competition going on in your home country
and everywhere.
And don't forget that a lot of Africans who went to follow up to watch a tournament, a lot of people traveled to Morocco. Morocco made their money in terms of economy wise and all that.
There was an accusation that most of the tickets were sold to Moroccans because they wanted their people to watch. And I was saying, well, what did you expect?
Of course, they want to put you on the spot and home advantage.
Yes.
So you turn around, you see the red and white all over the place. you don't have a choice.
Everywhere.
But to sit there and also be part of it and enjoy what football is, because they were like I said, 50 years down the line, they've been looking forward to such opportunity for them to win. Look at Diaz. Diaz is one person.
No, he was the man
who
of
is
the match. He won the golden
Yes,
boot,
he won
yes.
it because he wanted it by all means. He wanted to make his country proud. He wanted to, same thing was for Sadio Mane, who also wanted to make his country proud.
I think this should be about the last African Cup of Nations Mane will be playing, probably, because I think he's closer to where he's going than where he's coming from at this point in time. So he was doing everything, to make sure.
But Mane was the one who we felt needed to deliver on this, because we knew he was, and he did. So this whole reaction is something that is taking him a whole lot to swallow, because he feels, how do I explain this after taking the trophy home to my people?
Yes, I think it won't be Sadio Mane's fault. Sadio Mane's
fault. I'm not putting the fault on him.
He was being professional. If everybody had his kind of mind,
yes.
But the truth is, human beings are. See, there is this emotional part of us. When you can see that,
that's where we call for emotional intelligence to always play out.
When you see that, wow, this thing, our effort is being frustrated. The central referee, who is the last person to make decision, is on the side of these people. It's like it is 12 against 11, and all of that, and nobody is saying anything. And at that point, and the guys walked out of the field because it wasn't once, it wasn't twice, it wasn't thrice, and this one was so obvious. So they were like, no, there's no need playing this game. It's not do or die. Maybe at the end of the day, somebody's leg might got broken, and the referee will still award it to. There was one that was awarded during our game that people were even surprised.
Yes.
How this happened? So a lot of things happen in that African Cup of Nations. But then the most important thing is that we are still Africans, and we need to protect the image of this country
and the integrity of
our
football.
The integrity of our football, very important. The level at which football is going, sport is going in Africa now, we need to do everything to hold the banner high. That's why I am in support that these 9 men, I'm not questioning their decision, because they have the constitution and the rule in front of them, and they were able to make this decision. But then they should still be scrutinized. The case they've appealed to the arbitration court already, sport arbitration court.
Yes.
So let's see what will happen from there. But the bottom line is, see, there is no amount of celebration
in
Morocco will do now
that supersedes
what
winning.
Morocco. See, the whole world are watching. This one that is happening now is aftermath. So everybody, in fact, some people who watch that game will still tell you till tomorrow that, all right, if you like, give the trophy to Morocco, but we know who wins.
We know who the winner
won the match
is,
and all of that. So that's what it is. I would say, in fact, let them finish from their appeal court. If they want the trophy, they should give them the trophy and all of that. But
are you giving up already? The way it sounds like
it's going to affect participation,
yes,
and
of
the
course.
trust and the belief
on
that people
on CAF right now will reduce.
With CAF as it is right now, it means any referee has the right to do anything and without being questioned.
But
a lot of people were waiting for that referee to be sanctioned after the game.
But we've talked about officiating over time when it comes to
it's a problem in
officiating Africa. Is a challenge in Nigeria, in Africa. We've seen this happen. Let's see the EPL. Let's look at the Champions. Let's look at the European Championship and all that's played around the world. Have we seen how officiating happens across the different fields?
In fact, the line is just the margin is
quite wide. So the concern is, at what point are we going to get it right where we see officiating stand well? I remember when we brought in the coach of the Super Eagles, where we played qualifiers for the World Cup.
Yeah.
And then when we played what's the name of this country right now, where the coach was offended because of the officiating, and he had to stand up to one point, and people kept saying, because he was using jazz, so he felt it had to do with officiating as well, and still within the Africa circle, and that's a whole lot of concern. So I think it's high time CAF also sits and start looking at what it means in officiating and how much it is costing football bodies or football nations who are passionate and want to bring the entertainment to the front screen of every pundit who sits to analyze. Don't forget that most times when you go to watch football, pundits tend to play football more with their mouths than on the field of play, and they give no analysis and tell you this is not supposed to be this is not supposed to be that way. But like you said, there are constitutions, there are guiding rules that guides football.
Sure.
Which is one thing that officiating officers need to sit down, go back to the drawing board and see how all of this plays out more and easily for them.
When we talk about officiating, we have a central referee, we have a line referee,
yes.
we have those at the VAR,
yes.
So we have nothing less than 5 to 6 officials
yes.
in every game. But the central referee
is the captain. We call the captain at that point.
Yes, the captain at that point. So there are some decisions he will make, even though the others know it's wrong. But
they call him to order.
Yes, they call him to order. But there are some that he cannot upturn at that moment because it's going to be disastrous and it's going to affect the game. So sometimes you see the players do something like this stuff. Well, you understand.
It has happened.
And it goes on. But when they go back, all right, and sit down, because I know after every game, originally the officials are supposed to sit down and go through that game again, like a post-mortem, and go through that game again and put some things right because of the next game in case the same thing happens. You know, so with all of these things happening and the officiating for the first game, for the second game, we know a lot of people might be scared. All right, it's these people, we know them. Record has it that they are like our canopy pillars sometimes. You know, the record has it like that. So because of that confrontation and that fear, man is a man. Everybody's life matters and everybody wants to protect their life. Maybe it may not be 100%, but there might be some level of favoritism for host countries to an extent. All these things need to be checked if we must have it right, as it has to do with officiating. In Africa, we are complaining of Nigeria, not just Nigeria alone, just that it's more in Nigeria. And that's why most times if you see international games, you see maybe few or none of our players at the center.
At the center, of course.
So with all of this, if we must get this thing right, I'll keep saying it, we need to go back to the drawing board. But all things being said and done, there are different ways of, even though I don't know what the rule, there's a rule to the game, I must keep saying that.
So
but then there are other measures that can be taken, other forms of punishment
that should serve and should not be a detriment to the
or something that will result to mockery. Take it or not, this thing,
it's the mockery of half.
See,
it's a mockery.
You say I told you this. You see international, foreign, these Europeans. You see, you begin to see comments. You begin to hear from their pundits and all of that. They will do their own analysis, and you will begin to hear things after now. Except maybe after the appeal. There's an appeal right now, so we're waiting for what to happen. But after that, you hear a lot of people saying so many things.
Well, with that said, let's quickly turn our focus and let this rest. Hopefully, that CAS gives the needed result or needed answer football pundits are speaking of, because this has caused a lot of protests to talk about the strength, the tenacity of transparency that CAF has when it comes to football right now in Africa. Africa basically, because Europeans are going to look at us and say, are these Africans even serious with what they do? Because we always have a whole lot of scouters who sit back to watch African football, to look for the best paths to pick up players that should play across the different club sides that we have. Talking about that, let's quickly turn our focus and move away from what's been at the aftermath of the 2025 AFCON and tell you what's ahead for the international friendlies for Nigeria. Don't forget that we had the Middle East crisis, which is also affecting all of the plans put in place. But let's tell you that Nigerians are also putting their thoughts together and trying to see what will happen as they prepare for this particular friendlies. Well, the head coach, Eric Chelehi, has called in 23 players for Iran and Jordan matches. The head coach, Eric Chelehi, has picked team captain Wilfred Ndidi. I'm happy to see that Ndidi is getting back on this. Midfield ace Alex Iwobi and forward Ademola Lookman in a list of 23 players for this month's international. Friendly matches against Iran and Jordan, which have now been moved from the Jordan capital Amman to the city in Turkey, there Antalya in Turkey. The Super Eagles will take on Iran's senior men football team there on Friday. That's the 27th of March, which will kick off at about 4 p.m. local time, Nigeria time here, and then the Jordan senior men national team on Tuesday, 31st March, which will also kick off at 8 p.m. Originally scheduled for the 17,000 capacity Amman International Stadium and the 62,000 capacity King Abdullah Sports City Stadium, also in Amman, the games had to be moved to a new venue following the outbreak of military conflicts in the Middle East. Well, let me turn to Ramsey. Ramsey, we have this friendlies lined up for the Super Eagles. Super Eagles have shown their tenacity, their zeal, and giving Nigerians and Africa the need to see them as still one country you cannot play with when it comes to Africa football. How do you see this friendlies going to prepare us if, you know, there's a whole lot of appeal going for the World Cup, but there's still no hope. We're still looking at, and some person has said they should just forget about that idea and prepare for the next one.
That's what it is.
So how do you see them playing out for this friendlies?
Yeah, first of all, I want a clean qualification, not a permutation for qualification. Okay. If we are qualifying for the World Cup, we should qualify outrightly, okay. No permutation. All right, what would the court say? Would they appeal? This one win, this one lose? I don't believe in that. If we're winning for the giant of Africans that
we know ourselves
yes,
today.
So if we're winning, we should win outrightly. For the friendlies, I think it's good for me. If you see what Chile is trying to do, I think Chile is trying to continue with the kind of squad formation that we used at the African Cup of Nations.
Yes.
You can see that this
list of names he brought out.
The list of names he brought out. You know, I think it's good for me. And this international friendlies is going to go a long way because these guys are playing at different clubs. The only thing that gives them that fraternity, you know, to play together and get used to themselves is these friendlies. And the more the friendlies, the more together they are, so that it's not just when we're having major games you see them come together, train for 2-3 weeks and go get a match played. I think it's a good one, and for now, so far so good. All our players, majority of them, those guys in front are not doing badly in their clubs. I talk about Osimhen, talk about Lookman, talk about even it will be at a time a lot of people were like, oh,
you know, they had dragged him at some point.
They dragged him at one point after one of our games, but see the way it will be is going now. Look at Akko himself. A lot of them are doing very well in their club side now, but doing very well playing with others in your club side and not playing with your national teammates is a different ball game altogether. So this friendly now will bring these guys together to play, you know, as a team, and that will prepare them more, and the fraternity and the coming together, it will help them get used to themselves the more, and of course we'll have this play. The issue of the Middle East crisis, you can't take that away, because as a matter of fact we said it several times that this is going to affect a whole lot, and we can see what is happening right now. But then I think it's so exciting that Chile is settling down, you know. After the match he said, well, a lot of countries were coming for him, you know, and but he has decided to say, well, I'm going to stay back, but then you guys know what's up, you know, just up this thing a little bit. That's the reason we are here.
Well, since you brought that in, let's even talk to you about the fact that the NFF has also moved to say we want to retain Chile and give double of the current salary despite the missed targets. We wanted him to win that, but he didn't win, but he got us to a very good position at the AFCON. Let's get out that the Nigerian Football Federation is preparing an improved contract offer for Super Eagles head coach Eric Chelle in a bid to secure his long-term future. Despite the team's recent failure to meet key performances targets that they wanted them to get at this AFCON, they wanted them to actually cling on to that title, but it didn't come in our favor.
But it's not easy.
It wasn't easy.
With what he met on ground.
With what he met on ground, he has created a fantastic team that's become competitive.
Can I tell you the truth? I didn't know that Nigeria were going to go that far. I'm telling telling you the
That's
truth.
why I said the confidence in Nigerians Super Eagles team
A
is
lot of
now
people lost
boosted.
faith in the Super Eagles at the point.
But
if
the
you
games
remember.
we played at AFCON has shown strength, shown tenacity, shown team play, shown that we now have a Super Eagles team we can call the Super Eagles of the Nigerian team that we used to have in 1995, you know, who were playing the likes of the Kanu one called Jecho Kocha. We had them and they did very well in doing what they need to do. But let's also tell you that according to the reports we've gathered at times of the NFF in terms of securing Eric Chele's position, the Federation has proposed doubling Chele's monthly salary to $1,000 as part of the renewed contract negotiations. However, the offer falls short of the $130,000 reportedly requested by the coach through representatives, because he wanted the $130,000, but they're saying they cannot afford the $130,000. They can only work with $100,000. That's what they can afford him, because of course he has shown he can do the job. And now we talked about this on our program here, that Eric is one coach that Nigeria can afford to lose. He has built the team, he has given them their strengths, he has given them team play, he has taught them tactics, he has taught them technicality on the field of play, he has taught them how to maintain the forwards, the midfielders, the defenders. He's built good strengths in all the team in their different positionings. If you watch how the likes of what's it called right now, Lukman, Osimhen and the lights, when they play in the front, all of them, they've understood their different positions in the field of play, that each time they go to play, they know what their target is, and they can call themselves to order when they are missing out on anything. They tell themselves, guy, Osimhen got at some point, I know he got the heat of it, where he didn't want all of that distractions, where Nigerians had to turn focus to him to say, you cannot be the man of the game alone. You cannot be just you all the time. But he showed his passion in the field of play and wanting to deliver the mandate of getting the trophy back home to Nigerians. So that showed that Eric has been able to build them. And then when Lukman was asked what happened, when they had that game within him and Osimhen, he said it was just about the game.
It's about the game.
It's about the game. So you showed that Chile has been able to build psychological balance with the players.
I see a Westerhoff in Chile. I see a Westerhoff in Chile. I think one of the best coaches that we've had in the past.
Yes.
For the Super Eagles is Clement Westerhoff.
Yes.
And I see a kind of Westerhoff mentality and go-getting mentality in Chile. Moving forward, let's see how he's going to do it. And for now, I think the NFF agreeing to his terms, even though it's not 100%, is good enough. And that's a message to Chile that you are wanted here. And the reason why you are here is
sustainability.
Yes, sustainability. Whatever it is you have started, the way you were able to discover these guys. He's still going round.
No, he's going round because, of course, with the 23, he still has a backup plan.
One of the best things that we had during this AFCON is that we had a backup. Our second 11, they were just the best team to play. You are sure.
So at some point, when you think you've gotten the best of what was going to happen on the field of play, he just changes the narrative and the tactics comes into play.
Every substitute that came in the African Cup of Nations made a point. They made a point.
You
can see that competition. If Osimhen is not there, at least Akko will be there. If Ademola will be there, it will be. So every one of them, there is this team spirit that I saw with the guys.
And then go with this going forward into the friendlies and subsequent matches. As he's going to stay with them, will show that it is high time Nigeria has got the boys.
They love Chile.
No, they love him because
he's
currently someone who understands their strengths, their weaknesses, covers them, shields them when it's time to shield them. That's what they need.
They don't like all this bashing
and also,
the Oga thing.
And don't forget the fact that welfare for them with the NSC is something that you cannot even bring around anymore, because the NSC in coordination with the NFF have seen how to work out a smooth synergy where this boys don't need to always sit back to cry for their benefits, match bonuses. They always get it, because the likes of the NSC chairman, that's Malam Shodiko, and the DG Bukola Lokbade have not taken chances because they want the boys to have their heads in the game and give Nigeria. Because once they tell them that you're representing Nigeria first, that's what should come to your mind. represent the country
Yeah,
well.
the reason why
and you
those
get
guys
what you
are
need to
there,
get.
they want to make Nigeria proud because they are not poor guys.
No,
That's
not,
the
of
truth.
course.
But then what has to be done, what must be done well. What's doing is what's doing well. So these guys, I think with the way things are going now,
Yes.
they are not owing them. The coach is not being
It's
bossy.
comfortable. It's comfortable with the boys.
He's comfortable with the boys, and the boys are comfortable with him.
Yes.
And that's what brings the excellence and the results. So I think with these friendlies, we see
We should
something
expect
good.
more exciting.
We're expecting something very exciting. But Iran and Jordan, well, let's see.
But
are they competitive enough?
That's not you. Nigeria is not one. It's a team you cannot push away. You know that, of course. With the light of what's happening with our football players who are playing across the different club side, giving us the best. Is the light of Lukman, who is doing well with Atletico Madrid. You know what he's doing there. He's giving them the hits all the time. So he's going to show that tenacity when he comes out to play. But let's start our focus quickly and tell you what's happening with the under-17 women team who are setting the pace for their finals. Well, FIFA has confirmed the dates for the 2026 under-17 women's World Cup finals, still going to happen in Morocco. Morocco have the facilities. Don't forget that despite their attitude to football, that's the advantage they have. So, like I always tell every other African country, do the best you can to ensure they have enough facility. Don't forget that Nigeria had also looked at for opportunity to compete to host the Commonwealth Games. We lost it because we're still trying to get there. Right now, we have a lot to do. But let's give you the guide to this. The FIFA Council has officially confirmed the match schedule for the next edition of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, with the tournament set to take place in Morocco from October 17 to November 7, 2026. The decision was ratified during the Council's meeting in Zurich, reinforcing Morocco's growing status as a major host of international football competitions following recent successful continental and global events. Well, in March 2024, Morocco had been announced as the 2025 to 2029 Women's Under-17 World Cup host country following the FIFA Council meeting in Zurich, Switzerland. The tournament will bring together the world's best emerging female football talent, offering a key developmental platform for future senior internationals, while further strengthening women's football pathways across all confederations. Morocco's hosting is expected to accelerate investments in women's football infrastructure across the region and provide Africa teams with a valuable opportunity to compete on home soil against elite global opposition. Well, the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup has historically served as a launching pad for many stars of the senior women's game, and the 2026 edition is anticipated to continue that tradition while showcasing the rapid growth of youth women's football worldwide. Well, North Korea are the defending champions, having won a record 4th title in 2025. Well, North Korea has won. Our Under-17 that are not doing badly at all. They're just following the steps of the senior team, the Falcons, which have done amazing job. But before I get to speak on, let's also tell you what the Moroccans are also doing. Since Moroccans are still holding on to hosting rights because of their facilities and infrastructure on ground to hosting international games, let's also say that with the excitement coming out from the results they got at CAF, the ruling that has worked in their favor, with CAF saying they won the 2025 African Cup of Nations. Ramsey is looking at me in that look because you feel it wasn't their right. But that's what it says right now. They are celebrating and they are saying they're shifting focus. Don't forget that WAFCON was supposed to happen on the 17th of March. And because of the back and forth, WAFCON was moved to the mid of July and August 2026 to give them give those countries who are coming in to see level playing field or good hosting by these Moroccan countries. But right now, Morocco, since they've gotten the ruling, they are not excited to turn their focus to hosting. Let's tell you that the Royal Moroccan Football Federation has announced a renewed focus on hosting the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON following a landmark ruling by the Confederation of Africa Football Appeal Board that awarded Morocco 2025 Africa Cup of Nations title. And then the decision delivered by CAF's body overturned Senegal's winning of the cup, and the 10 million naira CAF money that Ramsey is already saying, is that money still
No, you
They
know,
are
you need to
covered
ask, is
right
the money
now.
still there, or have they spent it? Have they appreciated the guys with a part of the money? Well, for our girls, I am not scared for the women.
You always give them the thumbs up.
Any day,
Yeah,
I
he
give
for
them the
she.
thumbs up all the time. And of course, but then the Koreans have always been a thorn in the
You
flesh
cannot
of our
put the
girls.
North Korea, the South
The
Korea.
North
They
and
are
South
good
Korea,
at
they
what
are
they
very
do.
good. Their energy, those pam 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 is. I tell you at a point I say, are they teaching them another
Yes.
level of tiki taka when it comes to their pace and the way they hold the ball and all of
Yes.
that? Well, let's see. Keep our fingers crossed and see how that game is good. But for our women, I think it's a yes, and we look forward to what will happen in Morocco. But Moroccans treat our girls well. We
No,
know they
of
play with
course.
our women. No, don't forget that you were doing our guys anyhow. Don't try our
Ramsey is
girls.
already sounding a lot of
Yes,
but
to the
Morocco is
Moroccans.
actually a place. We saw our football fans who went there to see what it was like to be in Morocco. They had an amazing time, notwithstanding the drama that played out, because they all had to do with the passion for football.
That's true.
When
That's
they want
the game.
to.
That's
the game.
That's the
Every
game.
time. Like we always say, all you do, keep talking sports, because sport is one place you cannot throw out of it. It brings you the relaxation, it gives you the entertainment, it gives you all the vibe that you need to get when it comes to all of this. But well, this is where we have to say a big thank you for being a part of the program on Talksports on Global TV. Well, Ramsey, any last words for our viewers right now?
Well, I think the last word is let's just keep our fingers crossed. In any way you can console the Senegalese players, go ahead and do it on social media and make them feel good. Well, the game was won in court and not on the pitch. So Moroccans, keep celebrating. Now luck, whatever happens from their appeal court, we'll see how it will go. So let's just keep encouraging Senegal.
Oh my God, Ramsey has it very hard for the Moroccans today. But man, it's an amazing time here on Talksports on Global TV. Amazing predictions, a lot of protests to this ruling. But like we said, the board is under scrutiny to see how this appeal wasn't it at all for sport fans who enjoyed the good football that the Senegalese team played at AFCON 2025. But we look forward to seeing amazing playoff for the friendlies for Nigeria with the Iran and also the other side of the game, which we'll be playing for. Well, thank you so much. It's been a lot here in the world of sports. And like we always say, all you do, keep talking sports. I am Annie T. Patrick and
I am Ramsey Enoch. Have a beautiful day ahead of you.